The title of our book, Wildlife in Our Bodies. The author, Rob Dunn. The publisher, HarperCollins. Rob Dunn is a biologist and writer in the Department of Biological Sciences at NC State University. He wrote 8 magazines that were present in National Geographic, BBC, and Scientific American. He also has a new book coming out in the near future, The Man Who Touched His Own Heart. Lucy was the first human skeletal remains found by Tim White on November 24, 1974. Tim White is a professor of biological anthropology at the University of Cal Berkeley. While White examined Lucy, he discovered who our closest ancestors were. This included chimpanzees, but oddly enough, fruit flies as well. Crohn's disease is characterized by a suite of problems associated with attacks by the immune system on the gut. There was a study that began in Iowa with people who were infected with Crohn's disease. Deborah Wade had Crohn's disease but was not selected for this new study. She wanted to cure her disease, so she went down to Mexico and searched for a doctor that told her to be injected with worms to make her feel better. Sadly, the worms made her worse and worse. To survive, humans rely greatly on species and their surrounding environment. Over time, humans have begun to distance themselves from the things they need to survive in order to expand and to progress the human race. In doing so, we have removed these species from our daily lives, and it has become increasingly difficult to see how truly dependent we are. For example, if cows were extinct, we would not only lose our source of beef, but we would no longer have milk, and the role of cows in our ecosystem would be missing. The United States has progressively become more cautious towards the health of their citizens, especially in terms of the younger population. A plethora of health codes has been created to restrain potential foreign health threats among the general xenophobia of the U.S. population. Vaccines are henceforth required for students to protect them from contagious bacterial or viral infections and further establish health precautions. For the first 500,000 years of our human history, we had nothing more than stones sharp enough to break the marrow free of scavenged bones. Eventually, these stones became spears, and our hand bones evolved to better handle these weapons. Our legs became longer and our lungs bigger. Throughout time, not only have our bodies evolved, but also our predator-like instincts have evolved. Ancestors feared that parasites, ticks and lice, were nestling or crawling in their hair, so they would cut their hair in order to see their skin. Over time, it became a societal norm, so people began to shave for their appearance. Throughout time, humans have developed to become dependent on technology. If our ancestors observed how we live today, they would think we were foolish and that we need to go back to the basics. At today's current pace, human society will deplete Earth's natural resources within the next 35 years.
Section, we would like to reflect on a quote that we found very interesting throughout the book, and also a group book review that we wrote. So the quote that we would like to reflect on was about when Robert Dunn was talking about how our fear has developed throughout time. Here it is. We listen to the news and hear about every murder. We think about our budgets and their consequences. These diffused fears trigger the same responses that tigers once did, but they do so chronologically a little bit each day. Instead of yielding a resolution, this fear yields anxiety and stress. And this was on page 161, by the way. This quote is important to the text because it explains the evolution of fear as humans and our society has progressed. We no longer fear wild animals like tigers because we evolved in a way that we don't have to. We have homes to shelter us from predators and to keep us safe. Since fear is a distinct sense, it will never go away and it will never change. But what is considered frightening has and will continue to change. So now we would like to have a group reflection on the book Wildlife in Our Bodies. We would like to recognize that the summary that we developed was based on key points throughout the book. Rob Dunn elaborated on a diverse range of topics throughout the book. Dunn explored the importance of the human state through biology, ecology, and evolution. Each chapter validated the complexity of the human race and our environment, and to keep us wanting more through the amusing anecdotes. He gives a prologue to our lives relating that the human race was shaped by ancient predators and pesticides. He did not only talk about evolution of humans, but its surrounding environment. He breaks barriers when he talks about our xenophobia and its origins. This book has inspired many lively discussions within our group over the past few weeks we've read this book. Dunn was able to generalize scientific ideas for an average person while giving the reader an in-depth understanding of the topics, which we found very appealing. We highly recommend this book, and hopefully you read it in the future.